How the heretics? Are we live? Can someone tell you if you hear us? You should be able to hear us now. So, welcome to Saturdays with Satan. And I'm, well, not Satan, but I was thinking about that. Human beings, we love ceremonies. We have weddings and baptism and funerals and stuff. Why can't we have a disassociation ceremony? Why should we play by the Jehovah Witness rule and write a letter to the elders that they are instructed not to read? They get a letter, and that's all there is. And then they're instructed to call you and ask, is this a letter of disassociation? So why not make it public so that anyone that wants to disassociate can call in here? And since this is a new show, I need a lifeline that tells me something funny. So say hello to Heather. So when you were a Jehovah Witness, did you know the difference between disassociation and disfellowshipping?
No. Everybody was announced from the stage as basically they were just done. There was no difference.
Yeah. And that's a huge element of slander if you think about it. Like my brother, he has 2 kids that I never met. I was like within 100 meters from them at the convention in Copenhagen when I was protesting. I met my brother, one of my brothers, he didn't talk to me. But so I have a nephew and a niece that I never met, and they obviously know about me. And they get to hear from Watchtower and the meetings, all this, that you're only disfellowshipped if you commit a serious sin.
Mm-hmm.
And that's slander, because I never did that. So,
well, it's not just that. You have to be an unrepentant and serious sinner.
Yeah.
So you did something awful and terrible, and that's why you're not in their lives. And it wasn't anything awful and terrible.
Yeah, but the point is, why should we play by their rules and disassociate, send a letter that's never read, and the only thing they report in the meeting is that apostate is no longer one of the Jehovah Witnesses. So I thought it's a really good idea if someone wants to disassociate on my show. We can do that once a week. So, Jay, are you disassociated?
I'm faded. Yeah, so I guess so. I walked away. Is that disassociated?
No. Disassociated is when you send an official letter to Watchtower that you no longer want to be a Jehovah Witness. So you could actually disassociate now on my channel.
I could do it for fun, but I feel like they don't deserve my letter. They won't see another thing from me as long as I live. They'll hear about me online.
Yeah.
I'll do it for fun. I'm no longer, nor do I ever want to be a Jehovah Witness because they treat people bad and they got bad breath and all that type of stuff. So, does that work?
Yeah. That's the first official disassociation we had here. I think it's a good idea to have a disassociation meeting once a month. If someone wants to disassociate, they can do it. Hello, Janelle. Do you have the microphone?
I do. Hi, guys. How's everyone?
Are you disfellowshipped or?
I am disfellowshipped 3 times.
Oh,
nice. 3 times.
3 times. Yeah. The first time I was 15. The second time I was about 18. And I think the last time I was about 22. Yeah. So the 3rd time's a charm. So yeah, I'm out.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. But finally,
why were you disfellowshipped so many times, if I may ask?
Well, I think that a better question is, why did I keep trying to go back?
Yeah.
My family, on both sides of my family, you know, I'm 3rd generation born in, just wanting that sense of belonging and that sense of family. And that's essentially what drove me back all those times. But I remember the 3rd time after my judicial committee meeting, I was driving down this country road, and I was obviously disfellowshipped. And I had this sense of, you know what, I'm done. I felt okay. I'm not going to try to go back. It is what it is, and move life forward from there. But yeah, 3 times. First time was for fornication, second time for smoking, third time for fornication.
Oh.
Yeah.
They wasn't worthy of you anyway.
That's very true. Very, very true.
Yeah. Were you one of these that go and admit everything?
I did. I went in and I did meet with the judicial committees each time. I actually told on myself. I had a guilty conscience, so yeah, I essentially told on myself. But I did, and looking back, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous what people went through and what young ones go through, especially minors. But I'm glad to be out, living my best life, and have a sense of freedom and know who I am, and just want to help others do the same, because there is such a good life outside the organization, and they need to find that and fulfill their life purpose.
Yeah. I can just tell you a funny story. You wouldn't believe it when you're believing Jehovah Witness, because they always tell you, if you repent, you will not be disfellowshipped and stuff like that. I remember I was never an elder, but I was like, I had all the privileges anyway, and they were kind of grooming me. But the elder would talk. He said, "Here lives a disfellowshipped sister," and he said the problem with her is that she has too strong conscience. So she goes to us and admits everything. And because she does it so often, we have to do something. So we don't want to disfellowship her, but the problem is she keeps admitting it stuff. And you only get so and so many strikes.
You only
I
get
don't actually,
She was and he actually said, the elder, we wish she did not have such a strong conscience. And she stopped admitting things to us.
They were treating
strikes
people's
thing.
life like it was a baseball game. You shouldn't count strikes. It's like either they're repentant or they're not. Like, I mean,
They
come
do
on.
count strikes, though.
They do, and they definitely
They
count.
do.
If you get pregnant, that's automatic 3 strikes right there. It don't matter what happens, because if you're showing, that's it. You're all out. And then the crazy part about that is, because in their own little elders manual, if somebody just simply don't say nothing, then it's forgiven after a couple years. The shepherding and flock book. Have you heard about that?
no.
Yeah, after a couple years, if of course, if you stop doing it or whatever, or you just don't say nothing. Once a few years pass, it's like you didn't sin at all, and there's no need to even have a judicial.
Like if
committee.
nobody knows, if nobody knows, and nobody really has an opinion about it.
Yeah, then you're good.
Yeah,
I
pretty
think it depends also on who you are and how much of a contribution you're making monthly to that donation box.
Well, probably.
I've seen it. I have.
So, and this
wouldn't put
applies
that
to
behind them
elders
at
in the
all.
elders book. It applies to elders in the elders book.
Oh, just elders? I thought it was everybody.
No, this was in their qualifications for the elders, wasn't it? Or am I wrong?
Yeah.
Applies to
It was
everybody.
in the shepherding flock
I
book.
know 2 people. I know a girl that she shut up for 5 years and they didn't disfellowship her.
See? Oh, those dirty witnesses. That's some messed up stuff. Hey, Susan. Good to see you. One of my good friends, Susan. She was on with Lloyd earlier. Very cool.
Yeah, I
Hi,
remember.
Jay. Howdy, heretic.
What?
I said howdy, heretic.
When me and my girlfriend were dating and we got married, but my first wife, and we never had sex or anything, but I went to the elders and basically demanded to be reproved and lost our privilege. We wasn't disfellowshipped, but then I was sad, and I told some elders in Trondheim about this because we moved away, and they basically said, this is nothing. It's a quite common thing that people come and say that our conscience is bothering us. Before we got married, we had sex a lot, and the elders say, well, don't tell anyone because you're married
There you
now.
Yeah,
Not our elders. They made one of my friends get married like over the weekend, or else they were going to get disfellowshipped.
And that's the thing with the Jehovah Witnesses that I notice a lot, that they have a thing where they could just kind of make up their own rules sometimes. And I've seen it a lot where they're just like, oh, I don't think this is right, and I think this should be punishable. So they make up a rule, and then boom, there it is. It's punishable. But yeah, I mean, I had some elders tell me that he felt like I was dating. What word did he use? I was socially dating or something like that, and that the next person I be with, I better get married to him. I just laughed in his face and I walked off. This is back when I was in like Joliet. I wasn't in Chicago. It was like a suburb of Chicago. And I just kind of laughed it off and I just went on. But he was serious. I'm like, wow, this is somebody's elder right here. This is how he treats people. This is crazy. But yeah, it's like people have their own rules and they punish people accordingly. Some elders are really, really like, they'll let anything go, where some are like super strict, and you step on a twig, they're trying to throw you out the congregation. So it's a mess.
Oh yeah, my first congregation, it was like that. Any illegal fondling, you will be disfellowshipped.
So, Ephraim, you have been an elder?
No. I'm a regular pioneer for 8 years and about a year in Puerto Rico and Bethel.
Okay, but never.
But no, I never accepted any of those titles, and that really pissed off the elders in my congregation every time they reached out and said, "Oh, we want you to be a minister, a servant. We want you to be an elder," and I said no. And I will say to their faces, I would say, "No, if being an elder means to become like you, I'm out."
Yeah.
Okay,
So I was always on their radar because I was outspoken.
Yeah, sounds like me. But are you disassociated or disfellowshipped or nothing?
No, I just they tried to disfellowship me. They, as soon as my interview came out on YouTube, they came after me. My brother was the one who turned me in. He's an elder, and then they started calling me, texting me, but I never answered any of those. Then they went up to our apartment, and at all times, even at 10 o'clock at night, pounding on the door, yelling to open the door. And then came the part there where they send in these letters. And I just returned the letters with a note saying that I had moved from that address. So according to the elder's book, as soon as they do that twice, they have to drop it and they cannot pursue the person. And we moved from that address anyways. So I just like Jay, my man over there, I did not write a letter. I was not going to give them the satisfaction of announcing my name from the platform. That's the little fake power that they have, and I took it away from them.
Yeah. It is. I was thinking about when I left the religion. I wanted to like tell my story, and in my mind I was working it, and I thought I have to make at least between 15 and 22 episodes of at least 1 hour each to explain why I left. But today, if I would explain why I left, it's not real. It's not with one sentence.
That's exactly how I feel. Like it's like a child's game, even though it's dealing with real people's lives and it's really hurting people. It's also not real. Like if I was sitting on a bench outside and some kid was like, "Tag, you're it," I'm not gonna get up. "How dare you make me it?" and then just like violently chase the kid around the park. No, I'm gonna be like, "Oh, that's cute. All right, go ahead. Yeah, I'm it." Like that's how I feel about the religion. So I'm like, yeah, this fellowship, man. Kick me out, shun me, do whatever you want to do. It's not real to me. I'm not gonna acknowledge or pay attention to any of their limits or rules or whatever. If I see somebody I know, "Hey, what's up?" Like, "Hey, Jay, aren't you this fellowship?" No, I'm anointed now. Like I'll say whatever I want to because it's not real. I'm not gonna give any of their rules or attention, any of their rules or regulation any respect at all. Now, I'm not going to lie to people like that, but I might have fun with somebody. I know that much. I'm definitely not like the term apostate. I will never call myself an apostate, like seriously, because their definition of apostate ain't even an apostate. Apparently, an apostate is somebody who leaves their religion or their political affiliation, whatever. So in one regard, that's not their rule. And even if it was their rule is people that are apostates, they're lying, mentally diseased, they're Their only goal is to take people away from God. And if you think about it, nobody's doing that. Nobody's waking up like, Jehovah's going to destroy me. Who can I take down? Nobody's doing that. That's not a realistic thing. You know what I mean? It makes no sense at all. And if you are going to look at things like, taking people away from God, if God is this loving and kind person that wants to see people happy, the Jehovah's Witnesses are actively making people unhappy and taking away their love and natural affection. And basically, they're lying to people, they're deceiving people, they're telling half-truths, and they're doing all these things that they're saying the apostates are doing. So if you want to meet their definition, they're really the apostates. Yeah. If you want to go by that definition, that very, very specific and weird definition that they just seem to make up with, that's like some ex-girlfriend would say to somebody, like, yeah, Jay's a real apostate. Yeah, he's one of those disease-minded, don't buy me gifts for Christmas, don't remember my birthday or my middle name type of person. Like, give a really weird, specific definition for a word that isn't right. Like, that cannot be the definition to that word. Like,
yeah, because for them, an apostate is somebody who talks against their governing body. I said it before. I mean, you could talk against God, Jehovah, you could get away with it, but don't you dare say anything about the governing body.
But that's the thing, though. Like, they can't come out and say, well, that's what an apostate is, because people will be like, wait a minute, it shouldn't be illegal to talk bad about the organization. Like, that doesn't make sense on paper, But to say, they're talking against the Holy Spirit, like, really? On what scripture did they say Toni Morris is God's Holy Spirit? I'm looking for that scripture. I don't think I'm gonna find that one.
But it's fun to use to, I love talking to the witnesses. I go up, I have no guilt and no shame, and I look them in the eye, I shake hands with them and talk to them, and I refer to myself as apostate, and their language, and I have I keep momentum when I talk, so they don't really have the time to think and go into their mental box. So, like, when we have a protest, I go to the attendants and ask what brother is in charge here. I'm representing the apostates and we need to show him this is our permit, they were illegal, and then I go to him and show a permit, I shake hands, and they give me hugs, and but it's fun. I always say that if they ask me if I'm disfellowshipped, I say I'm disfellowshipped, but I'm innocent, I didn't do it, the elders did it, and I get away with that.
That's a good one.
So I have to put you backstage. Let's see here, because there's a new guy.
Oh.
And I have a six-person limit.
Germ.
Who did I kick off? I'm so sorry. I'm not that important. Put him back.
Well, and neither am I. I can leave. I can leave.
No. Hi, everybody.
I finally get to say hi to Germ and Jay, my man.
Hi.
Hey, Efren, what up, man?
How's it going?
Hey, I was just watching your interview on your channel, Germ. That was amazing.
Oh, thank you. With Sean Smith.
Oh yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, it was one of the craziest stories I've ever heard. It just nuts.
Okay, now I'm gonna have to go watch it now because
you gotta do that. You gotta do that.
There were some twists.
No spoilers. That is one you have to.
Just when you think it's over, it keeps going. It's like Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah. So it has a bad ending, then, basically. All right, no, I'm going to go check it out.
Germ, what's your channel? I don't think we're connected.
It's funny you should ask, because people are trashing mentally diseased people a lot in this chat, and it's mentally diseased is the channel.
All right, I'm gonna follow you now.
Yeah,
the channel with the best intro ever.
Thank you.
Oh, what's that?
It's my favorite channel, mentally diseased.
Oh, thank you. Yours is my favorite channel, and so is Jay's.
Thank you all very much. I honestly appreciate it. I want to thank all the little people that made it possible for me to have such great fans.
But Jerm, what do you think about the idea here? If I have once a month a show where people can call in and disassociate, it must have a function on the people's mind. We need ceremonies.
Sure, yeah. And I think there's a lot of people that don't get that closure that maybe need that kind of closure. I don't know what I am. I don't know if I'm disassociated or what. They kept calling me to meet with them and I just wouldn't do it. But I was never baptized. So it's
you're never baptized.
Yeah. I was just
okay.
Leave me alone.
Well, you can disassociate now, then you will be the second, and because Jay was the first.
Dear Watchtower, I would like to disassociate now. 17 years later. That's it.
Okay. Jeremy Howell is no longer one of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Thank you for that announcement.
Yeah.
They didn't really try to contact me that hard. They were just kind of like, all right, we're gonna let him just,
They're
they tried to break down Efren's door and they sent the dogs after him, a helicopter, everybody, CIA, but they was just kind of like, well, we haven't seen Jay in a while. Let's just keep it that way. We're not gonna go climb up that tree. We're gonna let that tree just fall. Yeah, they really didn't try to reach out to me at all. Now to think about it, I have no idea what my publisher's card is, and I kind of want to find it. And I also want to find what how they had those little, what do they call it when you go to a new congregation? They give you a letter about the person.
Letter recommendation.
Yeah, something that has all my dirty mail on it or something. I don't know. I would love to find out and see what they thought about me, really.
Because I know what they thought about me.
Because this is the thing, like they never really talked to me outside of my judicial committees. You know what I mean? So I know they had an opinion about me, but I never got it though. Like nobody ever was like, "Hey Jay, this is what we think of you." Like I never got that. Yeah, they didn't.
Yeah, because they're not supposed to tell you what the previous elders wrote in that letter.
Yeah, that's true.
You're not supposed to have a copy or even know anything about it. But since my brother was an elder, he told me what my previous elders said about me.
Okay,
and it was surprisingly nothing good. Because I thought I got along with those elders, and they really trashed me.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to make a special goal to wake up one of my ex-elders so I can get my info.
Yeah. There you go.
Specifically,
right into the Kingdom Hall,
007 style, come in through the vent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to see when I was a really super witness. That was like my teenage rebellion to be 100% holy and. I worked as a window cleaner 2 days a month and gave a lot of cash to the society. It was like really extreme. And they actually told me that I couldn't be a ministerial servant because I was too extreme. And they also said it was kind of fun because I was in the Spanish congregation in Trondheim. And then I would go out to an island in the sea where there lived 3 sisters. And we would go the whole day in field service, and then we would have book study and watchtower study. So that means I basically supported 2 congregations on my 2 days of window cleaning and pioneering, and I worked really hard. And I was not allowed to become a ministerial servant, so I asked, and they said because you have poor meeting attendance. And then I just asked, well. I don't have poor meeting attendance. I go to every meeting. And they had to come up with something because they can't say the Holy Spirit was wrong. So they said, well, you have to go to the meetings in the Norwegian congregation too, because the Spanish congregation was a group. So at that time, I had perfect meeting attendance. I was pioneering. I had speech. I was supporting 2 congregations. And so that means I went to 7 meetings a week. Not 5 meetings a week. And they said, well, no, you have to go to Norwegian too. So I had to go to 7 plus 4. That means 11 meetings a week.
How long
and like an hour. And then the next time the circuit overseer came, I was still not allowed to become a ministerial servant. 11 meetings a week. And then I just asked another guy, the son of an elder that was appointed ministerial servant. I said, he only go to one congregation. I support 3 with perfect meeting attendance and the pioneering and he does not go have perfect meetings attendance in one congregation. And the elder said, well, maybe the Holy Spirit thought that becoming a ministerial servant would be an encouragement to start going to the meetings. Or maybe his father was an elder.
Or maybe you were a little bit weird.
Well, I remember when I was in my first congregation, I was a regular pioneer, and the elders met with me after the CEO's visit, and they told me that they were not going to make me a ministerial servant because they spoke to my mom, and they asked her if I made my bed when I woke up, and she said no. And that was reason why they were not going to make me a ministerial servant. And I'm thinking, I don't care. I don't want the title anyway. But they make up all these rules, man.
Are you serious because you didn't make your bed?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Oh my goodness.
I'm totally serious.
Joking.
Wow, imagine if you forgot to flush the toilet, boy.
Oh, dear God. I will get a marking talk for that one.
Well, but yeah, that just shows you, like, it's a lot. It's not about no Holy Spirit. It's politics. It comes down to pure politics. You got to know the right people, and you got to suck up to the right people. Yeah. And those right people ain't Jesus and God. It's some men who have self-appointed themselves as spokesperson of God. Like, it's ridiculous and it's weird and it's crazy. Like 11 meetings. You know how much sleep I would have gotten at 11 meetings?
The next time the circuit overseer came and I was not allowed to be minister, I went to 3 congregations, 11 meetings a week, perfect meeting attendance. I was not appointed because I was very serious. So after the circuit overseer was there, I asked for a meeting with the elders to hear what I can improve. I did it every time. And they would come up with something ridiculous. And so the time after that, when I had perfect meetings attended in 3 congregations, except the book study because it's always on Thursday. But they said I could not be ministerial servant because I did not underline the watchtower.
Oh,
what?
Yeah, but remember, they knew I went to 3 watchtower studies every week.
Wow, that is
in 2 different languages.
Wow.
But I had to underline.
So that's when you get your crayons out. And
I can believe that.
You look like a rainbow. About 20 years ago, I asked to join the regional building committee. And basically, I was shut down because I was a single mom. I was young. I was 20, 21. But I have a degree in building construction. And I was denied because, guess, you answer why I was denied joining the regional building committee despite my education and knowledge in that field.
You didn't have a napkin on your head?
That's pretty much.
Yep.
I didn't bow down, I used my voice and they didn't like that. I guess, a little young, smart, educated woman intimidated these old men in the congregation, these wiser, older ones. But they didn't let me join. So now here I am 20 years later with my own company and working on different things. I can't say too much, but working on different things to disarm Watchtower.
Man, that is
good
crazy.
for you. Your skills are much better spent elsewhere.
And they are.
To be honest, I worked a lot for Watchtower and construction, a lot. Mm-hmm. And the place in the organization where women are treated the best, never as equal 100%, but the best is actually when it's construction. But you have to go through a filter of your home congregation elders. So I'm pretty sure this is a very well-educated guess that if you would come actually go on a construction, women were the construction brothers. The people we respect skills. So and the head covering things, they don't really care about that because the no helmet situation overrides the head covering.
Helmet qualifies.
And so if there's a sister that's a plumber, you know, and there's a meeting with brothers, and all of the brothers and sisters are well-educated professionals. The meeting starts like this: "Hello, I'm Bob. I'm in charge of carpentry, and this is Linda. She's in charge of plumbing." Well, if the society asks, we have to say that Bob, the 12-year-old ministerial servant, is in charge of plumbing, but don't talk to him. He don't know shit. Talk to Linda. She's in charge. That's the way it is, and they're respected. And this plumber Linda can just go and tell brothers, and tell them to leave, and she's listened to and respected. But that's when there are the brothers that actually know what they're doing, and then women are within the system kind of respected. But you have to become a part of the team. You have to be approved by your local elders. And they don't know shit, and they are bigoted, of course. And
no, and this was a good old boys club out in the hick town of Florida, somewhere out in Florida. A bunch of old white men sitting around with the banjo, basically. Are we gonna let her in? Are we gonna let her in? No, I intimidated them too much, so of course they're not gonna let me in because I know more than they do. And basically, I think they were intimidated because I had a short haircut. I had a very short haircut, and they didn't like that either. So. Yeah, and my hair was a maroonish purple color. I will give them that. It was not intentional. It was short, but at the same time, you have sisters of all ethnicities in the Kingdom Hall who could come in and have a different hairstyle every week. But the fact that I was a white woman experimenting with different styles really intimidated them. Again, good old country boys with their banjos, and they just did not like that. So they booted me out. That was the third time, and that was that last congregation that I left, and I just had this sense of freedom and just this weight off my shoulders after being disfellowshipped the third time from the good old boys. But so now I'm very glad that I was not part of that, because that probably would have encapitalized me more into the cult. And now I'm out and I can do things on my own and use my education and knowledge to my benefit.
I'm sorry if I missed it. How long have you been out?
Well, mentally set free, probably about 3 years. I was disfellowshipped the third time about 18 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But just really started doing some activism and getting involved in activism the past year, last February.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, keep up the fight, man. We need as many activists out here as possible. They getting weak now, boy. We really been taking it to them. They just had their first loss of I think their first negative year. But they starting to go backwards. So yeah, we really making a dent out there. You guys, probably doing some crazy stuff. That's what's up. It's
awesome. Let me tell you. I'm gonna tell you a quick story. I'm not gonna be too long. Last year, I was sitting on my couch watching that episode. I forgot it was Oxygen or A&E about the sexual abuse scandals, and that's the one when Barbara Anderson and Chessa were all involved. That was February last year. Within 30 days, I met Barbara and Chessa face to face. Went up to Nashville, Tennessee, met them within 30 days, and really connected with some awesome people who have been doing this a very long time, longer than me, and who know how to do it the right way. So with that being said, it's only been a little bit over a year. There's been a lot of forward movement, and there's a lot of good things to come. So the activism really is working. I agree.
I'm telling you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff done in Norway, in Norwegian. But we put a lot of pressure on them, and it's kind of fun to see how Watchtower react, because they don't go into the media. They don't want to talk with us, but they go straight on the minister, the government, and send him letters and say, we would like to respond to the lies and the misrepresentation. They don't want to talk to us. Whenever there's a documentary, they always get the right to speak their piece, and respond to. No, they go straight to media. And what do you call this guy that was in not the Royal Commission, the guy in the British Commission?
I don't know.
The guy that made a fool of himself. He couldn't answer about this. Yeah, anyway, that guy, he actually was in meetings with the Norwegian ministers. They're taking it seriously. And our worldly minister is very nice because obviously he must have made the effort to have the meeting in English, which is a foreign language for us. But I see now that they write letters to the minister and write that we don't, you are allowed to vote and stuff like that. You will not be punished for voting because they say you're allowed to vote. And
As Jehovah Witnesses?
Not a punishment.
As a Jehovah Witness, you're allowed to vote in Norway?
You know what happens?
Not really.
You get disfellowshipped or stuff like that.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah. But officially, they say that you're allowed to vote.
Yeah,
By paper, it looks like you can, but they will get you.
We don't baptize infants.
Yeah.
So when you make the decision to become a Jehovah Witness with no possibility of rethink this choice, it's because you're not an infant, so it's okay. And they absolutely don't mention that they are okay to baptize 6-year-old.
Yeah, they wait till they're at the very mature age of 6. Like it's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard in my life.
But why can't they tell the truth?
Yeah, they tell mistruths. Like I was saying earlier, they're apostates, is what they are. They try to mislead and deceive the organizations because, like, if you get up there and you just tell the truth, you'll get kicked out of the country easily. You tell people, family units, once somebody's disfellowship, the family unit continues and nothing changes. When you have instances, stories, literal videos that you put out saying otherwise, so it's straight up lies, it's straight up being deceitful, telling half truths to just deceive people and trick them into their some type of upstanding religion. They're a cult and they're hurting people, and it should be out there. And my thing is, after a certain point, like, these governments really need to do their due diligence. Like, come on, man. It's not that hard to look up exactly what they're doing. There's people out there who are more than willing to tell their story and explain in good detail exactly what's going on in this organization. It's like, they're like, well, there's nothing that's obvious out there that's happening. So that's pretty much, they just let them get away with it. And it falls on our shoulders to really stand up and keep putting the message out there and beating that drum until it gets out there, because the governments they do a little bit there, a little bit there, but they need to be kicked. There's no way they should have charitable status anywhere in the world. They shouldn't have charitable status. But
they see the Jehovah's Witnesses as a religion, and when it comes to religion, governments, they're still kind of scared to get their hands dirty. But because of activism, they will be learning that this is not a religion, this is a cult.
Yeah.
And they're a bunch of hypocrites, because I don't know if you know that in Chile, the kingdom halls, they have to have the country's flag in front of each kingdom hall.
Really?
Because otherwise they will be fined, and instead of paying, they just have the country's flag hanging out right there in front of the kingdom halls.
Yeah,
and they won't. I didn't know that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, check it out. I learned it because my brother, the elder, the one who turned me in, he's serving in Chile, and he told my mom, and my mom told me. My mom is a PMO, so she kind of keeps me in the loop.
And that's what's so crazy. Like, they're not willing to take any type of hit for the organization or for Jehovah. They won't take any hit. But if you're lying in bed and you're lying in the hospital sick and you need a blood transfusion to live, they expect you to die. Take the hit, but they're not even willing to say, nah, for our beliefs, we're not going to put that flag up. They'll let you die, but they won't like just say, hey, I guess if we got to pay the tax, then we got to pay the tax for our belief. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is so ridiculous. Like, come on, man. That's crazy. I did not know that at all.
Oh, yeah, check it out.
The lack of transparency about it is what really gets me. Like, no witness is going to know that there's flags hanging off a Kingdom Hall in Chile. They think, they think that if the Americans tried to make them put an American flag on a Kingdom Hall, they'd raise a ruckus and they wouldn't do it. When in fact, like,
There
you
you go.
actually totally would. Just like it reminds me of everything that happened with Malawi.
Yeah, the double standard.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it hurts their pockets, they'll say, "Oh, we have to, obey Satan's governments too." It's not just when it's convenient to them. If it was us, I mean, I remember, I mean, when I was growing up, or I mean, when I was younger and I was still in the cult, if there was an event and everybody had to stand up to listen to the U.S. national anthem, if you had to, they expected you to stay sitting down, or you could get in a lot of trouble. And then they have flags over there in Chile and the Kingdom Halls.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is, because having martyrs is something they enjoy. Then they can say we're persecuted, and in countries like Norway, when they ask for free money, they get a lot of cash here every year from the government. They can say, unless you give you cash, you're a bigot, and we compare you with Hitler and like stuff like that. But imagine in Chile, it's one day a year they have to fly the flag, and if they don't, they pay a fine. So the governing body, they say it's okay, it's a conscience matter. And when they say it's a conscience matter, it means keep the money, we can use it for something else. Mm-hmm. If it was the fact that if you don't fly the flag, we will put an elder in jail for 50 years, what would Watchtower say that? Yes, please, we need martyrs.
Yeah,
we need martyrs.
Take him away.
Take him away. And we will have a letter campaign, and there will be interviews with his wife, and then there will be interview with his widow after he's executed and he died because they forced us to have a flag. If it was the matter of persecution, they can't say we're persecuted because we have to pay $50 trillion. That's not the headline. There's no headlines when Watchtower lose real estate or money. It's headlines when an innocent person, deluded, nice person goes to jail for nothing. If it would be a capital offense not to fly a flag in Chile, Watchtower would not fly a flag in Chile.
Oh yeah,
man.
But it's just a fine, so they're not going to pay for it.
Yeah.
I wonder if
no
they
headline.
came after the governing body directly, would they like take the hit? Like they're like, hey, if you don't do this, we're gonna lock up the governing body directly. Would they be like, well, we're gonna stand strong for our beliefs. We're gonna do this for Jehovah. Would they actually stand strong and take the hit? I don't think they would.
The Jeffrey Jackson gave you a little taste when they asked him, "Are you the truth?" And he said, "It will be very presumptuous for us to say that."
You're right.
When I saw that was my way. That was my ticket out. I was like, what? As soon as I saw that, my brother, he's watching us right now. He showed me that. I just felt so embarrassed. I was like, I cannot believe I just heard this, because I thought that when I was gonna watch the Australian Royal Commission, I was going to see these guys just, the aces pounding on the Satan system, and I was just embarrassed. So I said, you know what? I have to do some research, and I went straight to Ray Francis' book. Then that was it. I'm out.
Wow. What's scary about that the Australian Royal Commission case and the child sexual abuse cases worldwide is that with the current letter writing campaigns going on, many of these witnesses, they're not aware that there is a database of pedophiles. And so you could say that these, maybe let's call them innocent for benefit of doubt, these innocent witnesses are writing letters to whomever they're directed to in their territory. And I'm going to give you an example because I'm speaking truth. I have a letter that I got in my mailbox inviting a pedophile to the congregation.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So obviously I'm a survivor. In order to share this story with you, you need to know a little background. I am a survivor of child sex abuse that was covered up by the religion. This is the scary part to me because you do have these people, like this lady who wrote this letter, I'm sure is very innocent and has no idea what she's really doing. She essentially invited a pedophile to the congregation. Now multiply that times however many Jehovah's Witnesses there are right now doing the letter writing campaign. Think about who is being invited into the congregations now, either through Zoom, when meetings start, when they start having meetings in person again. What is really going on? And that's the scary part. And I think it was Jay who said that the politicians need to be made aware of this. And the forward movement happening in Australia, I feel like that is going to be a key for worldwide events turning over, where Australia is going to be the example of what can happen in the United States or what can happen in Norway or in Great Britain or wherever. But this is a real issue that a lot of witnesses who are innocent and who don't really know the truth about this database of pedophiles, they need to be aware that what they're doing, they are inviting them back. I have it in my hand.
And the congregation is not aware of it.
The congregation is very aware of it.
Oh, wow.
The congregation was made aware of it in 2006.
Wow.
And the elder's job is to protect the congregation. That's the entire reason they kick people out, they disfellowship, they shun, they mark people, and they do all this stuff. But they will not let the congregation know that there's a pedophile in their midst.
They invite them back.
Yeah,
If I go to a Kingdom Hall, if I go to the Kingdom Hall, if I went to a Kingdom Hall and just start telling everybody what I found out about the Jehovah's Witness organization, and I don't do anything like, I guess, bad, they will mark me. They will have an entire part of the talk to say, hey, watch out, there's a marked individual out there, very dangerous.
No, they'll disfellowship you.
And that too. But they will never, ever warn the congregation directly as a whole that is somebody in their midst that is literally a danger to their children. They will not do that. Or to like the women or the men in the audience, like there's a dangerous person there and they will not mark them. So you got to ask yourself, is they really like trying to keep the congregation safe, or are they trying to keep the organization safe?
Exactly. I mean, it's like that video where they were interviewing this guy from the Watchtower, and he's talking about that database, and he said, well, if we have to look into that, we're going to find out, we have to go through all the murderers and the people. And I'm like, damn,
exactly.
How many people you got in there that you're hiding? And he just kept on going on, and we have all the hideouts of Batman's arch enemies in here too, and we're hiding everything in, and we're not going to share it with you. No way.
And he felt like that, telling the police that was going to get the police off of his back. They're like, I'm sorry, well, it's more than just pedophiles, it's murderers and drug dealers.
Yeah.
And the police supposed to be like, oh, I'm sorry, we just covered the pedophiles here. No,
yeah,
that's police.
And the lawyer was like, shut up. And
yeah, the lawyer was like, yo, shut up. What are you doing?
Wasn't it Ripper Sutcliffe that they just baptized in the UK? That was a convicted serial killer in jail, and they baptized him.
Oh, I heard
I
something.
think it was
about
Ripper
that,
Sutcliffe was his name.
I don't know the details.
Yeah. I mean, it's like anything goes as long as you don't talk bad about the organization. That's the only thing that could prevent you from getting baptized and being exemplary.
Can I ask you something, Janelle?
Sure.
So the point is that the congregation that you know of has invited a pedophile that they knew of to be part of their group, or was it a pedophile that they had in the group and expelled? Because I didn't get that, and it's really interesting for me.
So the person they invited is a witness.
Mm-hmm.
They have territory cards. Are you familiar with the territory cards?
No, but we have small territories card.
Okay.
So the territory cards will tell you, like, essentially it's a map, and it lists who lives in that area. And back in the day, we used to go knocking on doors. Well, now for COVID, they don't do that. So they write letters. So this person must have gotten the territory card for my neighborhood. All right, so this is getting kind of personal. How do I say this without totally exposing everything that I don't need to expose? The person is a family member. So, hang on, give me a second. I'm trying to think how to say this without digging myself into a hole. The letter ended up in my mailbox because the place where I live is in this person's name, where I make all the payments, but it's in their name, part of the family. So that's why the letter ended up in my mailbox. The person is a current active witness. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Wow. Are you considered an apostate, Janelle?
I don't know.
By the congregation?
I don't know. I haven't spoken to the congregation. They haven't spoken to me since 2006. 2006 is when, no, I'm sorry, 2012. 2006 is when I told the local congregation about what happened. 2012 is when they contacted me. That's when the Australian Royal Commission cases started coming out. And that conversation did not go very well for them. From there, I don't know what they have labeled me. I know my family does consider me an apostate. I don't speak to any of them, obviously, but I don't know what they consider me. Quite frankly, I don't care. They could go fly a kite. If it makes them feel good, call me an apostate, then tattoo it on my forehead twice.
Yeah, because sadly, you will be considered more dangerous than the pedo.
To them.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. I'm glad. They need to be scared.
People underestimate how well trained Jehovah's Witnesses are and how well organized they are. And I can give you you'll learn to pick it up, especially if you're a brother. But I can give you one example. When you talk to Swedish Jehovah's Witnesses, elders, they all say the same thing, and Norwegian elders all say the same thing, and it can't be a coincidence. So when you talk to Swedish elder about, the sex abuse scandals, the Swedish elders always say, "We always call the police when the law require it." And in Norway, they say, "Well, the law require us to call the police, and we always follow the law." That's two different things. In Norway, the law required them to call the police. So their talking point in Norway is always, the law requires us to call the police, and we always follow the law. They don't say we always call the police. They say we always follow the law. And following the law may be, direction from Bethel, because they.
Right, it might
but
not be
in Sweden,
like the government
they always
law.
say, the elders, listen to this talking point, they say, we always follow the law. We always report pedophiles when the law requires it.
Okay.
The law doesn't require it in Sweden. And the talking point, the elders always say,
play on words.
We always report it to the police when the law requires it.
But the weird thing
but they
about
don't tell you that the law requires it or not. There you go.
Yeah. So there's two different talking points, and I realized when I was a witness, just from listening to the talking points, that this is the way they lie in Sweden, and this is the way they lie in Norway.
Interpretation. It all falls
But
down.
I realized that while still being a witness.
there's an argument that I've seen them use in court cases that there's a separation between church and state, and they have certain religious rights. And because this is a federally given right, it trumps the state requirements. So separation of church and state, and this is how their religion says to handle this. It's a federal thing.
Are you talking about the clergy penitent privilege?
The clergy penitent privilege. There's like it's different from like state to state, but like there's a law that gives you religious rights through the American Constitution. It's a federal thing. Correct. But they tried to use that as an argument to bypass the individual state reporting laws.
Right.
I think they did that in the Delaware case.
Right. Which that's something that I'm working on as far as the statute of limitations reform in different states. I work with different nonprofit organizations in the United States that are way ahead of me, or I think any nonprofit that ex-Jehovah's Witnesses have tried to organize. So there is a lot of headway in that, but it is a federal, you're right, it is a federal constitutional law that protects clergy from having to share this information with law enforcement.
Well, they're trying to treat it like a loophole. It's not necessarily just the clergy penitent privilege. A child talking to somebody who they've been told to trust since before they were born and asking for help is not a penitent. But in not reporting it as a religious practice, you know, that they have a protection of their religious practices through the American Constitution, and they try to use it as a loophole to bypass the reporting requirements.
Exactly.
And they've used basically, I don't remember exactly how they worded it, but that's what they did in court. They tried to treat the Constitution as a loophole and a way to get past it.
And that's so crazy because, like,
it's messed up. Like
if somebody's psychiatrist, right, which patient privilege is one thing that they have, but if somebody is a danger to themselves or others, you have to report it. If you're a lawyer and your client is a danger to himself or others, you have to report it because there's a good chance that somebody's going to be hurt if you don't. So that's the whole reason behind it. So that's why I can't really wrap my mind around somebody being a potential danger to children in a congregation and they don't have to report it, because we've seen cases where people knew that this person was dangerous. Nobody said nothing to anybody. They didn't warn the members of the congregation, and that person continued to hurt people when it could have been stopped and nipped in the bud way back when, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no way that the governing, well, not the governing body, but the elders at any congregation are equipped in any type of way to do a proper investigation. I mean, are you kidding me? Like that's ridiculous. If anything comes down the pipeline and somebody is a potential danger to themselves or others, it needs to be reported to the authorities point blank. You know what I mean? Like there should not be no clergy privilege or whatever it's called. It's ridiculous, man. And it's leading to people actively, continuously being hurt. You know what I mean? So it's just, oh my God, it's disgusting to even try to argue that, you know? Well, I shouldn't have to tell. That's disgusting.
That's very
bro.
true.
And they go to the complete opposite. I mean, I just knew it was like 2 years ago, a sister from my first congregation, she called just to say hi. And then she's telling me about that she finally came out and spoke to the elder that she was sexually abused by this elder's son, who also abused a couple of more young girls in the congregation. And she started to tell it to a couple of people in the congregation. She was ordered to shut up or be disfellowshipped. Mm-hmm. Nothing was done with the guy.
That's pretty typical. And I know a case of where the pedophile, he was actually doing things before I was even born, and the congregation knew about it. I mean, like a decade before I was even born. And had the elders taken action then, I'm going to say the elders and people in my family, have they had taken action then, there are countless of individuals that were hurt because of their decision not to take any actions. Many people were hurt. I'm not the only one.
Wow.
And this is dating back to the 70s, 1970s.
Is that window still open in New York that all these people can take action against the watchtower?
For my particular situation, that's a big question right now, because it did happen in New York in the 70s before I was born. And I probably shouldn't be talking about this, but at this point it doesn't matter. But the person traveled to the United States and moved. So now it's becoming more of a federal case, because think about the records, those records that we all want to get our hands on, where it was documented in the 70s, this person actually admitted to it. So there's your evidence, admitted to it in the 70s, moved to the South United States. Now it's become federal because it's interstate.
Wow.
Now, their lack of actions to protect people decades ago needs to have restitution, and there needs to be some justice and vindication for many, many survivors.
I agree.
It's kind of like Jehovah Witnesses are not bad people. It's not like I join a cult and protect pedophiles. That's not what they do. The problem is all the secrecy, and I'm not a fan of Bethel in general, but especially not the service department. And they believe that what we got for everything that comes from Brooklyn or Warwick, it's basically the law, and the laws in Norway is subordinate to any directions from the society, and the direction from society is written by people that's just trying to polish the brand and keep it nice and neat.
They're trying to be ready for the new world order.
There was okay, so this is hearsay, of course, but there was I heard it from the person who was involved. He's a PIMO, but there was a sister that was abused by an elder, so we're talking about grown-ups, and she reported this to the police and then spoke to the elders.
Good.
And that means the police in Norway, they sent letter to the brothers, the elders in the congregation, and the Bethel, and also to this PIMO who helped them, helped her file a report at the police. So he also got it. It says that you are not allowed to investigate this because you're messing with our investigation. There's such thing as false memories, especially when there's children, but you're not allowed to investigate this. We are investigating this.
So
and
the
you
police
might
got aware.
investigate stuff after we're done, but you're not allowed to investigate. But that we have to follow Jehovah's law above. They just keep doing because they believe that whatever's in their communication with broccoli is above the Norwegian law.
But
And I remember having problem with that on construction site when there were non-professional witnesses in different, and I could say, this is what the law in Sweden say. We have to do it this way. And they're like, well, according to this letter from Bethel, we have to do it this way. Well, that's wrong and it's illegal. Yeah, but we have to obey you. So, and it could be really stupid things like obvious construction matters. And a letter from Bethel was more worth than common sense. Like in one example, they wanted me to put, okay, so imagine this is a pipe that comes up from the ground. And then the water that comes from the roof, it has to be smaller to go inside, And I had to fight 1 week with this, but in the end, because it came from Brooklyn, they had to put a bigger pipe outside. And then they would put asphalt around to hide the mistake. And then they sold the building. And that could create an enormous sinkhole and the whole building can collapse.
Wow.
That was the building in Strängnäs. You remember I sent you the picture of this enormous. It's the biggest convention hall Jehovah Witnesses ever had. And it's built with arcs like this to hold it up. We were like 8,000 or 9,000 at the convention. And this enormous stadium, all the water that comes from a rainfall goes through those pipes that are just 30 centimeters. And then they are put on outside of pipes and asphalt. You can create sinkhole that damage and the whole shebang can collapse with 8,000 people inside.
Maybe you should tell someone.
Code enforcement.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I told them, I was 16 years at the time, and I really pushed as far as I could, without being disfellowshipped. And it was like, and all these people, elders with spiritual personalities, all came down to, no, this is from Bethel. And I explained it. No, and we had to put it up, and it was wrong. So when the water came down, and the pipes are under too small anyway, so it started squirting in all directions. And I thought, okay, so now they can admit that, well, not admit that I was wrong, but we can redo it. It's not about me. But they actually hired someone to put asphalt around it, which is hiding a serious mistake before you sell a property for millions.
It's their new water feature.
It never ceases to amaze me because one thing that I would have, even now that I'm out, I would have thought that when it comes to these types of constructions and buildings, that they would do a good job. I was under that impression.
Yeah, it's either ways. I have to make a video about this, but when you've been to a lot of construction, I can go there for, I'm there for like 10 seconds and I know if this is going to go well or bad. If it's a good construction, it's not like this. Hello, I'm Bob. I'm a carpenter and I'm in charge of the carpentry. And this is Greg. He's a plumber, he's charged, and this is Sister Jobs. She's a sister, and she's sitting in the audience, but she's charged of the plumbers, you know. And everyone get a copy of the blueprints, and look carefully and try to see if something's wrong. Then you know it's gonna work well. And then you come to another construction. It's like this. Welcome. Matthew 24:14, and they start quoting Matthew 24:14. Then you know it's really bad. But then they say, you know, I am the presiding overseer, and this is Brother Johnson, and this is Brother Nielsen, and he was born in 1912. You know?
So if they start reading the Bible, it's downhill from there.
And then they actually say this. They say, and we have the blueprints, and we haven't opened the envelope yet. We're gonna have a meeting with only elders tomorrow morning, and we will open the blueprints.
We're gonna leave this construction in Jehovah's hands.
Yeah,
there you go.
Let the Holy Spirit take over.
yeah. But if it's a good building, you know, I remember first time I was like 16 years old, and an elder with he was like 100 years old, and he handed me the blueprint, and he said, "Look here, use your critical thinking skill. Try to find anything that's wrong."
Oh my God!
I was 16, you know. And that's the way it's supposed to be. And then you can actually call to Bethel, and I did for fun, use this actual wording. I called to Bethel and said, "Hello, we received the direction from Watchtower. We have been reading it with a critical mind, trying to find errors, and we found several errors you done." And the brother Bethel said, "That was a very specific wording, but okay." The brothers that work with construction are good, but then all of a sudden you have an elder with spiritual qualities, and they're literally a danger.
And that's what killed me, because do y'all remember back when they put out that little video saying that it was about them changing congregations because they were selling the Kingdom Halls, but the basic meaning of the video was they're telling people, listen to the elders no matter what they say. Even if it don't make sense, just do what they say. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Been that way a long time.
I'm just sitting there like, when do we start giving elders our unquestioned devotion? Like, where does that make sense? Like, how is that not firing off any red flags to you? Like what you said, that literally the pipe, if you look at it, the water was coming up. It's like, yo, this is not right. Like, at some place we went left when we should have went right. Like, we should be able to just try to fix that. You know, this could potentially be dangerous. And they're just like, no, the elders said no. So, you know, it's like, come on.
No, that's brazen conduct, Jay. Brazen conduct.
I know, right? But
there you go. Yeah, because according to them, the illustration or whatever verse in Revelation where it says that Jesus has these stars in his hands, that those stars represent the elders. So Jesus is, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's in the Revelation book.
Do they even use the Revelation book still?
No, that's apostate now. That's apostate literature now.
That's right. Unless it's convenient.
That's my favorite of all of them.
Yeah, I got my copy.
My favorite is when Carol Baskin gets eaten by the 7-headed lion. That's my favorite part. But yeah, that entire scenario and the relationship that people have between their elders is so ridiculous, because if you're not gonna really do any critical thinking, if you're really not gonna put your heads together, then the project is destined to fail. It's destined to go bad. I don't care who the leaders are. Just because somebody's an elder does not mean that they're the best person for the job. You know what I mean? Like I've seen so many times, especially in the part of Chicago I live, it was this one woman I know who had her law degree, had her business degree. She was highly decorated and very successful, and the congregation could not stand her. The elders could not stand her because they would try to like poke her and like try to mess with her. And, you know, they're constantly trying to control people. And she wasn't like, she believed it, but she wasn't like trying to be controlled either. And these elders who she could just outsmart at the drop of a hat, you know, and who she made them look so dumb. They constantly like harassed her and just really put like a negative connotation around her all the time, you know? Like they're really, really intimidated by her, you know? So to sit up and be like, whatever they say is right and just listen to them is the dumbest thing in the world, you know? Like I had an elder at my hall that could barely read. Like, I mean, barely could read. He struggled, but he was the elder. He was very devout. He was nice to people. The people at the congregation liked him, but he couldn't read. The brother couldn't read. But he still was the head, apparently, you know? And it's just like, yo, it's so frustrating to have to point out obvious problems to people and it still nothing, no red flags, no nothing. It's just like, well, just think about it a little bit. You know, it's really not that hard, but the fight continues.
That's what my brother, the apostate, he would ask me like, dude, you never got along with the elders. You never saw these red flags. I'm like, no, I did not. I thought it was the truth. I believed all the crap that they taught me. I mean, I would separate them from the organization. I was like, oh, they're just like three idiots. They don't know what they're doing. But the organization is still Jehovah's organization, and leave it in Jehovah's hands. And I hate that phrase. Mm-hmm. You know how it is. But I mean, no, I just would not see the red flags, even though they were right here.
Yeah. They kind of design
when they talk about the elders, they talk about like gifts, and they're so wonderful, and we have to listen to them, and you know,
gifts and men.
Like
there's a song.
They're so wonderful, and they say, you know, even elders can do mistakes. Like we didn't think they could make mistakes, even though. But Ephraim, you can. Correct me if I'm. You've also been on Bethel. On Bethel, when they talk about elders on Bethel, they talk about like troublemakers. You know, the elders of the congregation. We have to, that congregation. We have to send someone to replace the elders. Like they talk about on Bethel, they talk about elders like the scum of the earth. Like there are problems in that congregation. We have to replace the elders. There are problems in that congregation. We have to replace the elders. But then on the publisher level, they talk about the elders like being superheroes. Is that correct?
The higher you are, the difference in stories or the way they talk about each other, it is. Yeah, that is true. I mean, there's the publishers, then there's the elders, and whoever's on top of them, they're going to talk about them as, you know, nothing, and those above those, it's the same way.
Yeah.
Folks, I have to go start dinner. I'm going to hop out of here. Hopefully Susan Brewer can get back in. I feel bad for booting her.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I actually got to make my kids dinner too. It's officially dinner time in America.
That time.
Yeah. Hey, before you go, Germ, what you're drinking over there?
It's horchata.
Oh,
I know I'm saying that wrong, but I can't roll my R's.
Horchata.
Yes, so that's what I'm having. We're having a great snow day here, so to have horchata, you know, I don't know.
There you go.
Hey.
Thanks so much. It was wonderful meeting you all and hanging out.
Yeah, and thanks for disassociation. Disassociating on my channel.
Absolutely.
No problem. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one, okay?
Right.
Yeah, man. I got to go too. Finally, nice to see you and talk to you, Jay.
Yeah, you too, man. We got to do this again.
I've been tracking something down for you. I'm not going to spoil it. I've been like, but if I do find it, I'll contact you so I could mail it to you.
All right, cool. Inbox me.
Yes.
I'll give you my stuff.
There you go.
Bless
Cool,
you.
man. So I got to go to, my wife is calling me. So,
Yeah.
It's bedtime in Norway.
Yeah,
Thanks for
it's 0014 here, so I have to go to bed. But
oh.
I'm glad you you are here, because there's not so many people calling in and dissociating this time. But I think maybe you can do it every first Saturday, having Disassociation Day, Saturday with Satan, and maybe some people. Yeah, it's a cool name.
I like it. I
Trademark.
like it.
Yeah, and
I think we all need drinks to
I'm
go
sad
with
that
these.
my wife isn't here right now, because she would not for the longest time, even though when she was out, she would not watch any activist videos. But the only one that she would watch was Goat Like, because she found him funny. Jay the Comedian, she loves Jay the Comedian, and she would watch Germ too.
Oh.
So there were very few ones, and all three of you are here.
The trifecta.
Oh, nice. Hey, yeah, we gotta do this again, man. This was fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. First Saturday next month. What's that? April.
Yeah.
We can have Saturday with Satan again, and hopefully someone will come and disassociate. So
You need to advertise.
Okay.
Start putting it out there.
Yeah, I get.
Yeah, we gotta advertise it, man. We gotta get it to the people.
advertise.
Advertise, share.
Satan and his Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay, so since we're our feminists nowadays, so Heather, you can get the last words.
What?
The
You
final
can
prayer,
conclude
Heather.
prayer or whatever.
We want your full 10-minute speech.
I don't know. I don't. I think it's pretty awesome to have this idea for this association for your Saturdays.
Yeah.
But I think we need some more cheers, maybe a drink. You know,
Get some
this
bells,
is fun.
horns.
It's
Some
fun getting to
blowhorns.
talk. There you go.
Okay. So we do it again next Saturday, and hopefully someone disassociate, and we'll have some drinking pressure. So, okay. So
Nice to know.
yeah, see you in paradise.
Hi guys.
Thank you all.